One most requested game, if you will, was Kansas City-Dallas. They only play each other once every 4 years, guaranteed, once every 8 in Dallas. So because the game was in Dallas, we had the opportunity to at least consider it for Thanksgiving.
Those are two of what we call America's teams, in that they both get really, really high viewership. So having a matchup like that and placing it in a window like Thanksgiving where everyone's at home watching football, we think will draw in a lot of eyeballs.
The two perhaps currently biggest brands, Patrick Mahomes, the Cowboys, just perennially audience drivers. I think, putting that game on Thanksgiving was huge and a big statement by us in a window that the Cowboys Thanksgiving game is always the most viewed game of the year.
If both teams are healthy and competitive, could we get to 48, 49, 50 million viewers? Now you're talking about, AFC and NFC championship level viewership numbers for a regular season game. Unprecedented, and an opportunity to take the Ferrari out of the garage and try something maybe we hadn't been willing to consider before. Let's see what is the art of the possible.
A game that I particularly was most interested in seeing where it ended up was Philly-KC. That was our Super Bowl rematch from last year. It's ended up on Fox as their Week 2 doubleheader.
In Week 2, it's still the excitement of a Super Bowl rematch. We've done it in other years where it's fallen later in the season. At that point, each team kind of has its own story for the current season. We like it in Week 2 because it really picks up from where we left off coming off of the Super Bowl.
They played a great rematch a couple years ago on Monday Night Football, got almost 30 million viewers. That was later in the year. I really love the way it's placed in Week 2, and we just get out of the gates and a chance to see those two teams right away and see how they face off after having met in the Super Bowl.
It would probably be Kansas City Buffalo. That is a game that they've met in the playoffs multiple times in the past few years. That is one that everyone was clamoring for.
It's one of those huge matchups that has been big for us in the regular season, and then it becomes a huge playoff game.
CBS, to continue the tradition of Buffalo and Kansas City and to be able to build and tell that story from the AFC as the home of the AFC, I think they're super excited.
Similar to last year, we had it right in the middle of the season. It's back in Week 9. It's on 425. There's no other games on CBS at the time. 100% of the country will be seeing this massive game, this kind of, Brady Manning-esque rivalry that's kind of developed.